Hello everyone, so during this video today, we'll be adding clay to my little Velociraptor, one could say, and learning some fun facts about this dinosaur along the way, so come with me and learn about this dinosaur today as we travel back in time, I say.
Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well, and thank you for tuning into Moose Motion. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed the content, comment below what you think, share with your friends, and perhaps consider subscribing if you're new, and be sure you have your post notifications turned on so you don't miss any of the new content. Anyway, thank you for your support, it's highly appreciated.
On this YouTube video today, one could say I'll be adding clay to my Velociraptor skeleton today. And while I sculpt away, adding muscles and counter shading to this dinosaur today, we'll be learning some fun facts along the way. So come back in time with me, from the comforts of your own homes to the late Cretaceous period. A time before mankind, when dinosaurs walked the earth. When monsters ruled the land and sea, before one of the great extinctions that have ever happened on this earth. So join me to learn what the Velociraptor really looked like. The Velociraptor mongoliensis was a predatory theropod that lived in the late Cretaceous period 71 million years ago. It gets its name from the Latin word velox, which means swift and speed, and raptor, which means robber or plunderer, as an appropriate description for its agility and carnivorous diet. It was first discovered in Mongolia, East Asia, hence the name. It was found on the 11th of August in 1923 by Peter Kazin. He stumbled across the complete 25-centimeter skull and toe claw at the dig site in the Gobi Desert. Throughout the years, we've looked at dinosaurs as upright, naked monsters, and the Velociraptors were no different. Now, there's a few things I need to address before we get into the science aspect of this video. The dinosaurs seen in Jurassic Park aren't scientifically accurate. We all know this. Everything about that Velociraptor is wrong. From the scaling to the way the hands are positioned and shaped, and the lack of feathers. The Velociraptors in the film, however, are based off the Deinonychus antiropterus, a large species of raptor ranging from 4 to 5 feet tall and 11.5 feet in length. Although the name of this dinosaur was changed by Michael Crichton to Velociraptor, in order for the dinosaur to sound more dramatic and frightening. Almost like something a real theme park would do to excite the guests. At the time Croton wrote the novel, the reinterpretation of Deinonychus was scientifically accurate, although it was scaled up just a bit for Spielberg's film to make it more of a formidable foe. Throughout the years following the books and films' releases, we of course have learnt a lot more about this fascinating creature, adding that they indeed had feathers, and their hands weren't positioned with their fingers towards their toes, and were instead facing each other like a bird. The Velociraptors seen in Jurassic Park unofficially have more in common with the Aquila beta, a species of dromaeosaur that actually grew up to 6 feet tall, like what we see in the film. But then again, there are a few notable differences, most notably the skeletal structure, which isn't quite as accurate as the Deinonychus. Now that we have that out of the way, let's talk about the specifics on Velociraptor mongoliensis. This Cretaceous dromaeosaur stood at a height of about 3 feet tall, a length of 6.8 feet from nose to tail tip. The weight was approximately 20 to 30 pounds. Significantly smaller than many of you might have expected or had hoped it would be. But don't underestimate this creature, it could still do some damage. With a 3.5-inch retractable claw, its job would have been to trap other dinosaurs and plunge the weapon deep into the throat of the larger prey, leaving them to suffocate on their own. Dr. Grant wasn't messing around when he gave that explanation of what a raptor claw would do to you. P.S. You're alive when they start to eat you. And with the Velociraptor's estimated speeds running up to 64 kilometers per hour, you wouldn't want to mess around with this thing, even if it was smaller than you. Now, I would like to briefly mention for those of you who are probably more, avid watchers of this channel, in part 1, I mentioned the speed of the Velociraptor as well, which was significantly slower than this estimation. So, that being said, I've noticed, with a lot of very popular dinosaurs, the running estimations for these things varies dramatically. And if you just so happen to enjoy this type of content, be sure to subscribe if you're new and turn on your post notifications so you don't miss any of my new videos, where generally we do deep dives on dinosaurs while I, well, obviously make them by hand. And, well, hopefully you enjoy this project, and if you do, you can let me know by leaving a comment in the comment section below or a thumbs up on this video. Anyway, back to the Velociraptor. And to help with these intense running speeds, of course it would be feathers. Yes, the dreaded feathers that Jurassic Park fans don't want to hear about. Unfortunately, my friends, small dromaeosaurs like these were absolutely covered in feathers, and is most likely to resemble something similar to what is found on modern-day birds, like the stellar sea eagle. You can also see on fossils of Velociraptor arms, they have small intonations called quill knobs, where prominent feathers would have grown. These feathered arms would have helped with steering, similar to what's seen on ostriches running at high speeds today. And whilst they did have wings, but they could not glide or fly, although it is likely their ancestors could have at some point, and merely evolved to lose this ability. And while we're on the topic of feathers, what type of colors would Velociraptor have on these plumages? Some have speculated that smaller dromaeosaurs would have had glossy black feathers like crows, although some have also speculated it would have been brown and white in color, very similar to what you see on eagles today, and would have been used to blend into their environment of prehistoric Asia. Although not all dinosaurs were this drab dark color. Some species that are well preserved can have their color determined by firing a laser at the fossil, highlighting their fluorescent materials. And under an electron microscope, scientists were able to confirm the presence of melanosomes, structures that hold pigments in cell tissues. This allows scientists to determine what colors dinosaurs would have been. And for one small theropod called Sinosauropteryx, they were able to determine prominently fluffy orangish feathers, with white stripes going down the tail in a similar fashion as a lemur. And it featured dark gray or black skin. Certainly a groundbreaking find that pushes our understanding of these magnificent creatures. Now, unfortunately, that's all the fun facts we have time for during this video, so be sure to tune in next week for part 3 of the Velociraptor project, where I will finish off this scientifically accurate blue for all of you and learn some fun facts about this, well, magnificent creature along the way. But now it is time for the build rundown. So one could say on this video today, we did a lot of sculpting today, because the Velociraptor skeleton is now completely covered in plasticine clay, where we used that clay to do some counter shading on this Velociraptor, one could say. And while we were working away, you could say we also got some of the bigger details out of the way. And some tools used for the job, I say. A loop tool to scrape the clay away, and rubber sculpting tools to get at those hard to reach places, I say. And some sculpting knives are always handy to have at your dismay. But one could say the most important tool today are a set of hands for sculpting, I say. And we also got a little bit of painting out of the way, so we have more fun for sculpting later on, I say. And if you're new to this channel today and are just tuning in, I say, be sure to subscribe to this channel today so you don't miss part 3 of the Velociraptor project, which will soon be on the way. And I owe a quick shout out to Dragonclaw today for spotting Milton the moose in the last how-to video, you could say. So, congratulations, Mr. Dragonclaw, for spotting that moose. And most importantly of all, I'd like to thank you all for watching to the very end of this video. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed the content, comment below what you think of the project, share with your friends, and perhaps consider subscribing if you do. Anyway, that's enough from me. Till next time, take it easy.